Hello, hello, hello. Hello. Hello, YouTube. Hello, Instagram. I am backwards on each. This is really confusing. I am on a flipped camera on one. Hang on. This is really confusing. That's okay. If you're on YouTube, I'm backwards. If you're on Instagram, I feel like I'm the same way. So I'm just going to look it up. I'm just going to look at Instagram rather than YouTube. Thanks for joining me on our free live masterclass on how calories work. So what sort of prompted me to do this live was so many people confused around calories and macros and understanding nutrition, and with the increase of, dare I mention the O word, let's just call them fat loss injections and things like that. I think there's a huge lack of understanding education around food itself. And then you get things like people saying I'm demonizing food and fear mongering, and I absolutely am not. What I want to do and what I think there needs to be more of is a pure education around food, around calories, macros, energy expenditure, so you know where your energy is going. Because without this knowledge, and you would not be like, it's not your people's fault. It's not everyone's fault that they don't know any of this stuff, because we're not taught it in school. We're not taught it when we leave school. If you want to lose weight and you go and see a doctor, they just, well, I don't know if that really works. I'm not sure what the support is available. There's not a huge amount of support when it comes to fat loss or understanding nutrition. Now, this chat's not just going to be about fat loss either, because for me, fat loss is only one area of nutrition that needs to be talked about and why we should eat a certain way. The reason we should want to lose the excess body fat we've got in us is for our overall health, is so our organs can function properly, so there's not excess fat around our organs, so that our joints are better, so they're not like we're not impinging our knees and our ankles and our hips, so that we can move better, so we are more mobile, so we can up and down. We can run around after our kids. We don't get puffy. We've got good cardiovascular health for our longevity. And of course, your confidence as well, because it's important to feel confident in who you are and comfortable in who you are. So that's why fat loss is important. However, that's only one area of why I do what I do. There are so many more facets. And what I love about when I coach women and men is that somehow along the way, people come to me for fat loss. And at the end of their journey with me, because remember, our journeys have no end. That's the whole point of a journey. They're never ending. Is that they go, Danny, gosh, I sleep better. I have more energy. I'm more patient. I'm more energetic. I've got less headaches. I've got less brain fog. I've got better skin. I'm less bloated. Oh, and I lost weight as well. And that's just an added bonus, you know, at the end of the day, rather than coming and being like, I need to lose the fat because I want to be skinny, or I want to look a certain way, or I want to look at in the bikini on the holiday, and I want to look at the wedding, or whatever it is, or fit into these jeans. When women and men start to feel better, it's then easier to implement things to create habits, and then fat loss is a byproduct of doing all these things. Okay. Now, the thing is that unfortunately we live in a society where we want fat loss now. We want everything now, don't we? We have everything at our fingertips. And if you're a parent out there, you will also probably understand how frustrating it is being a parent in 2025. You know, my children, Harper, and you know, of course, but Harper's like, put my playlist on. I want to watch this movie now. And I go, back in my day, you listened to the radio and you listened to what your parents wanted to listen to. If there was a movie on TV, you watched that movie. And if you wanted to watch an actual different movie, you trotted on down to Video Easy and you stood there and you got one pick for the week. You know, everyone wants things now. And it's the same with fat loss. And when people can't achieve their goals within a certain period of time, sorry, I've got a bit of hair in my face, and a short period of time, we get frustrated, we throw in towels, and we go drastic measures like, you know, Ozempic. And don't get me wrong, there is definitely a time and a place for things like that. I'm not going to go into that. That's not what this is about. But people really have stopped understanding that long-term change is possible, but you have to be patient and you have to just keep doing the same thing every day. It's just like I told Harper with the tennis. You've got to do it over and over and over and over again. Get really comfortable with the boring, mundane consistency that's habit formation, because that's when real joy comes. Because Guys, you could get skinny. If I could wave a magic wand and say, "Do you're skinny," will you be happy? No, because you'd still feel shit. This is the thing about when people have rapid weight loss. It's like, well, then now do you know what to do to actually make you feel good? Do you know what to do to have lots of energy in the day? Do you know what to do to improve your health long term? Because it's all well and good when we're in our 20s, 30s, and even our early 40s. But what about when you're in your late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s? Do you want to be on medication? Do you want to be injecting yourself? Do you want to be tired? Do you want to suddenly have heart issues or cholesterol issues and things you didn't really think about? And I know in our 20s especially, it's really hard to see that, right? But I'm almost 40 in a few months. And for me, I kind of go, oh gosh, now it's right there. And I want to be healthy. I want to be good. I want to be fit. I want to be running around. Like, I know everyone thinks this. In my head, I am still 21, like I am still 21. My wrinkles might say otherwise, but otherwise I am 21 and I want to be feeling like this when I'm 60, 70, 80, 90. Anyway, so this is why I wanted to jump on here. So we are going to go through a couple of things today. I think Instagram cuts me out after an hour. So I have a habit of chatting, but please, if you have any questions, please pop them in both Instagram or YouTube and I'll answer them along the way as well. But we're going to go through, I want to educate you guys on calories, understanding calories, and calories are made up of macros and macronutrients. And some of you are always message me and go, I don't even know what a macro is. Okay, so we're going to go through macronutrients and why it's important to understand what macronutrients are. We're going to go through why calories matter and why understanding of macros are going to matter. We're going to go through energy balance. Everyone hears that term and goes, oh, that's boring. I don't want to hear about energy balance. Just tell me how to lose fat. If you understand energy balance, you will then understand why potentially you've not been hitting your goals, and it's going to give you some freedom. So we're going to go through as well. I'm going to go through ultra-processed food versus whole foods. It's going to kind of intertwine and why you're potentially not hitting your processed foods, because I'm not here to be like, this is, I think people say to me, Daddy, you slam ultra-processed foods because you're fear-mongering. It's not bad for your health. It's okay. It just may be the one reason that you're not hitting your goals. It could also be the reason that you get sick later on in life. And we know this because more people under the age of 50 someone just said I've frozen. Have I frozen? What have I frozen on? Instagram or YouTube? More people under 50 have had cancer than ever before. Can you just tell me if I've frozen or you can see me? And we know that ultra-processed food, even though it was brought in kind of the late 70s, early 80s, really came to fruition in the 90s. And it was seen as convenience and healthy and quick and great for the mum. All good, amazing. It was convenient and good all for the mum of perfect, thank you. All good for the mum of the 90s. We didn't have any research as to what it was actually doing to us. We now know that there's such a huge impact of that. Okay, cool. We know that the impact of that is now more people with chronic disease. We know that we have more children with mental health issues, more adults with mental health issues, and it's really directly related. And it's all those preservatives, additives, emulsifiers, vegetable gums, all those things that are in so many of the foods we consume without even realizing it. So we're going to talk ultra-processed foods versus whole foods as well. We're going to go through energy balance. Then we're going to go through why having a goal is really important and how your mindset around food is really important, because this isn't about counting calories as well, guys. I don't talk counting. I call tracking. Like, let's track to make sure you are having enough nutrients to help you thrive, right? When you feel like you're thriving, you see all the small wins. You're able to see all the small wins and do all that. So anyway, as I said, I have a habit of chit-chatting, so I'm going to keep looking at the clock. All right, so macros, nutrients, and calories. So calories are made up of macronutrients, and there are 3 actually for the pop quiz later on. There are 4 main macronutrients, okay? There's protein, fats, and carbohydrates. These are known as our energy. These are our energy. We use these 3 macronutrients as our main energy sources. The 4th macronutrients for the pop quiz later on is alcohol. Alcohol is its own macronutrient, okay? So it actually has 7 its own macronutrient. main energy source. So we'll just park that one to the side for tonight's conversation. But our 3 macronutrients, protein, carbs, and fats, and they make up our calories, and they all work in different ways. And you're going to learn in a second why we don't just want to cut out a whole macronutrient from our diet in a bid to lose fat. And I did do a reel last night, I can't remember, last night, around why we shouldn't cut out carbs specifically, because obviously that carbs is always known as the bad beast of the lot. But the 3 macronutrients, carbs, fats, and proteins. So write that down. We're going to go through them. So let's start with protein. Okay, protein is used for our muscle recovery, our muscle repair, our muscle growth, right? It helps our fibers. It's stored in our, in our fibers. It helps repair and build our muscles. It also helps in our blood production, our bone production. It helps with the satiety levels, keeping us full for longer. And it aids in fat loss because it has a high thermic effect. And we're going to talk about thermic effect in a second. So protein is responsible for all those things. Now, people think protein, they think bulky muscles getting big. Guys, you want big, strong muscles. This is what's going to keep you healthy for longer and longer and longer and be able to get you up. When, me and Bailey were talking about this on our podcast the other day. One of the number one reasons that people end up in nursing homes is because they literally cannot go to the toilet by themselves, because they cannot get up and down off a chair. You want muscles for that. You want strong glutes, strong thighs. You want all that. And ladies, after the age of 65, our most common injury after a fall is a wrist fracture. Not really that detrimental to our health. The second highest injury after the age of 65 is a hip fracture. And if you get a hip fracture after the age of 65, this is a really serious piece of research. 10% of those people that have a hip fracture after the age of 65 will be dead within a year, right? Osteoporosis is 1 foot. So that's what protein is good for. We want protein throughout the course of the day. My YouTube doesn't like connection. You want protein throughout the course of the day, okay? It's going to help with your satiety levels. It's going to help you keep full for longer. So having a good high protein breakfast is meaning you're going to fuel yourself for the morning, especially if you're working out in the morning as well. You want protein within 30 to 60 minutes of working out while your body is in an anabolic state. Your muscles are in an anabolic state, which means they can absorb those proteins more. And there are loads of strains of proteins as well, guys. There's naturally occurring proteins and there's non-naturally occurring proteins. So some of the proteins we get through food, the food we eat, which we'll go through in a second. But some proteins like collagen, we produce naturally. So they're naturally occurring. At the age of 27, you have these beautiful, abundant, naturally occurring collagen strains of protein in your body. And then we slowly start to lose them over time, which is why I think about the age of 70, we've lost 80% of our collagen stores, which is why you get wrinkles, which is why you get sore joints as well, because collagen looks after all your connective tissues. So your skin, your hair, your nails, your ligaments, your tendons. That's what collagen looks after. So we do suggest a collagen supplement these days, and there's loads more research around it, but there are loads of different protein strains. So we want to be having protein throughout the course of the day to help to keep us full throughout the course of the day, okay? So lots and lots and lots and lots of protein throughout the course of the day. We also, I keep getting messages pop up, so I'm getting distracted. Anyway, protein throughout the course of the day to keep us full for longer. We also want to make sure we're having a nice high protein level to make sure we are repairing and building those muscles and helping with that fat loss if we have a goal. If we don't have enough protein in our body, our muscles can't repair and rebuild, which means they can't grow. So you're going to go to the gym and do all this work for absolutely nothing, okay? There are 4 calories per gram of protein, which means for every gram of protein you consume, you are getting 4 calories, okay? So this is where the calories come into it. So every gram of protein, now I don't mean weighed gram, like you take a piece of chicken, or actually chicken is purely just protein, say prawns. If you times, say, a prawn by 4, actually, because prawns are almost 100% protein, you will get the amount of calories, okay? But for every gram of protein you have, you get 4 calories. For how much we need, we say 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight is enough to sustain sedentary life. So if you're not doing any exercise at all, you're not doing anything, 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight, all the way up to the upper level, about 2 grams per kilogram of body weight if you're trying to build a lot of muscle. So I weigh about, I don't know, 50 something, 57 kilos right now. I'm trying to get about 130 grams of protein in for me. I'm also breastfeeding, of course, so that's going to have that added load. But usually I aim for around 120 grams of protein, which is just over double the amount of my body weight in protein. It is really hard to overdose on protein. Some people ask me that, unless you are, The Rock and having like all those freaking eggs, shakes, and 5 protein shakes a day, you're not really going to overdose on protein. Protein is excreted through the kidneys as well. So if you do have too much protein, you can end up with kidney issues, but most people aren't at risk of having that much protein. So unless you're a massive bodybuilder and you're having far too much, that is not really a risk. Our protein sources, our best sources of protein are our lean protein sources, so lower fat, high protein content are your lean meats. So your lean chickens, chicken tenderloins, chicken breast, your white fish, so your barramundi, flake, those sorts of things, cods, shellfish, prawns, really good, high protein, no fat. And then you've got your other meat sources, so your meat, beef, pork, lamb, all those things, great. Now the thing is, beef, pork, and lamb, you do have an added fat source in there as well, so it does add calories. So for calories per gram, your lean meats, your chicken, so remember chicken thighs have that added fat source as well. So when we add a fat source, when we add a macronutrient, it increases the calories. So tenderloins, breasts over here, thighs over here, white fish over here, lamb, pork, beef over here, they've just got that added fat source. So their calories per gram are higher. So if I give you 100 grams of chicken and 100 grams of beef, the beef is going to have high calorie content because it's got a fat content added to it, okay? So just being wary of that. So you have leaner sources of protein. Kangaroo is an awesome one as well. We had kangaroo tonight for dinner. And then you've got your other animal products, your eggs, your cheese, your yogurt, your milks, good sources of protein as well. And then you've got your non-animal sources of protein, so your legumes, your rolled oats, nuts, seeds, those sorts of things as well. Per 100 grams, much lower protein. So just remembering you're going to need a lot more. And then some of those things also have added fat source. But we do have like tofu, things like that. Also chickpeas, good protein sources as well. So that's our protein. That's why we want protein. Most of us don't get enough protein through food alone. When I look at clients, they're just not getting enough. If you're not having protein at every single meal, you're probably missing out on the protein. So a protein shake is, recommended for most people to make sure they're getting enough protein in their day. Then we move to carbohydrates. So carbohydrates, these are the people some people hate carbohydrates, don't they? But carbohydrates are your main energy source, guys. This is where all your energy comes from. Why do you think runners and athletes, runners like myself, have glucose gels and carbohydrates before we run? Because they are your main energy source. Carbohydrates also look after your cardiovascular system, your metabolism, and are hugely important for our muscles as well. Excuse me. So carbohydrates, we want good carbohydrates. We want good low GI whole food carbohydrates. And this is where most people go wrong. People put lots of different things into the whole bucket of carbohydrates and don't actually know the quality of the carbohydrate that you're eating. So our best sources of carbohydrate are things like your whole grains. So I think black rice, wild rice, brown rice, basmati rice, or your low GI rices. Quinoa, freekeh, farro, all those beautiful grains, those whole ancient grains. All your vegetables, guys, that's all their carbohydrates, low GI carbohydrates. Your fruits, beautiful carbohydrates as well. And then you've got things like pasta, rolled oats. Rolled oats, guys, are better than quick oats because they've been less processed. Steel cut oats, even better, less processed. But when we get down to quick oats have been heated, rolled, heated again, so they're quite refined. They're quite processed, which means they do spike blood sugar quickly. Now we want our spike in blood sugar. That's how we, survive. However, you want a slow spike in blood sugar if possible, so that we have long-lasting energy. If we get these really quick spikes, we get hungrier quicker, which is why we want low GI carbohydrates. So glycemic index is a scale of 1 to 100, which shows how quickly glucose affects your blood sugar, right? So something with a high GI is going to spike your blood sugar really quickly, which means you're going to be hungry quicker because it's going to do this to your blood sugar. Something with a low glycemic index is going to release glucose into your blood nice and slowly, and after 2 or 3 hours, it's going to slowly come back down when you can have another meal. So that's what we want to focus on, is our low GI carbohydrates. Now, our low GI carbohydrates, believe it or not, are mainly our whole food carbohydrates. So all those things I mentioned before, all those low GI rices, pasta, all our rolled oats, all our fruits and vegetables, they are our low GI carbohydrates. High GI carbohydrates are those with added sugar or usually those refined carbohydrates. So things like your cereals, your prepackaged muesli bars, sandwich wraps, white bread, all that processed white bread from the supermarket, or even just processed wholemeal bread from the supermarket, which has been processed and processed and processed, had additives and preservatives, all of those things in there. They are all your high GI carbohydrates. Anything with added sugar, sweets, lollies, chocolate, that's all high GI carbohydrates. They're going to spike your blood sugar really quickly, which means they're not going to keep you full for longer. So having something like a cereal in the morning compared to a bowl of rolled oats is going to mean you're probably hungry within an hour and a half compared to the rolled oats where you might be hungry in like 2 to 3 hours time. Sourdough bread, my favorite low GI carbohydrate as well because of the way it's been fermented over the course of the day with that process. So we want to focus on low GI carbohydrates, and this is where most people go wrong. They think carbs are the enemy. Remember, 1 gram of carbs binds together 3 grams of water as well. So if you are having a big carbohydrate meal and then you go down the scales, you might see the scales suddenly go up, but that's just because it binded the water that you've got, so you just retained water. So a lot of the time people will go out for dinner, and also guys, just stop standing on the scales anyway, but you go out for dinner, you have a beautiful pasta meal or even a pizza or whatever it is. I mean, pizza's mainly fat, not carbs anyway. Beautiful carb meal, maybe some bread or whatever, and maybe some wine, carbohydrate, sugar in the wine, right? Then you go and weigh yourself the next day, like, I've put on 3 kilos. It's like you haven't put on 3 kilos. You're impossible to put on 3 kilos of fat overnight. There are 7,700 calories in 1 kilogram of fat, which we'll go through in a second. So you are not putting on 3 kilograms of fat. You're probably putting on 3 kilos of water retention, okay? So just remembering that as well. So we want to focus on our low GI carbohydrates. We also want carbohydrates throughout the course of the day to keep us full for longer. Now, if you're finding you're cutting out your carbohydrates, you might find you're hungry, low energy, tired, brain foggy because you haven't got glucose going to your brain, which helps it function. You haven't got glucose going to your muscles to help them function, right? So some low GI carbohydrates. Now, carbohydrates also have 4 calories per gram, the same as protein. So for every gram of carbohydrate you have, you get 4 calories. So again, you want to be having some protein in the morning. So you might have some. Here's a little food diary for you. You might have some sourdough with eggs on toast, right? Beautiful protein source and some beautiful carbs. For morning tea, you might have a YoPro yogurt with a little bit of granola. So you've got homemade granola, of course, from my recipe book and my app. You'll have your YoPro, which is your protein source, or your yogurt, your protein source, and then you can have your granola, which is your carbs. For lunch, you might have some beautiful grains with some chicken, and of course, your salad and veggie items and those sorts of things. Afternoon tea, maybe you've made a protein ball, and then for dinner, you want to be having some, say, sweet potato with a piece of meat, fish, tuna, or some tofu or something like that. So that's how the protein and carb is going to look throughout the course of the day. We want about, most people want to have like a 50% calorie split when it comes to their carbohydrate. For me, for example, I'm aiming for about 250 grams of carbohydrates a day. So for people that go, you can't lose weight in carbohydrates, promise you can. Then we've got our fats. Our fats, we need good fats, guys. Good fats are great for our heart health, our brain health, our organ function. We need good fats to thrive and our long-term sustainable energy, okay? When I'm running my marathons, even though I'm having my carbohydrate stores, once those carbohydrate stores deplete a little bit, it backs into my fat stores. We need good fats. The problem is that most people eat too many fats and they don't understand that there are 9 calories per gram of fat. So remember carbs and protein, there was 4 and 4. So 4 calories per gram, 4 calories per gram, 9 calories per gram of fats, which means there's more than double the amount of calories per gram for fats. So every time you eat some fats, you're getting more calories than you actually thought. So the problem is that people eat too much of them. Now, this is the thing. Fats are great for you. We need good fats, but we're just having too many. Right? And remember the thing, just because it's healthy doesn't mean you're not having too much of it. So our good fats are our avocados, our oily fish, our nuts, our seeds, olive oil, cacao nibs, those sorts of things. That's all our fat sources. Now, if you were to think about it, or eggs, also a fat source, cheese. Now, if you were to think about it, you're going to have some eggs on toast. If you then put some avocado on there, drizzle of olive oil, some feta, some seeds, like you're at a cafe, that is fat sauce amongst fat sauce amongst fat sauce amongst fat sauce. That breakfast can be like 1,000 calories, and everyone's going to blame the fucking carbs underneath. They're going to blame the bread, and the bread's not even making up hardly any of the calories. It's all the fat sauce on top. So we do need fats, but we don't need them throughout the course of the day. We just need them scattered because most of our diet's only going to make up about 25% fats, okay? So For me, I aim for about 50 to 60 grams of fats a day. So that might look like some eggs on toast for breakfast, and morning tea might not have any fats. You might have a little bit of avocado for lunch, and you might not have any fats for the rest of the day. Or you might have some overnight oats for breakfast, which don't have any fats in them, just some carbs and protein. Then you might have some avocado at lunch and then some salmon for dinner. Okay, so you don't have to have it all through that course of the day. It's not necessary to get adequate amounts. Just scatter through the day is fine, but we want our good fats. Now, this is where we have to then understand how calories are made up. Everyone's going, oh my God, I'm so confused right now. You're talking about macros, and now I'm confused. Ooh. You get these on my website, by the way. So that's protein, carbs, and fats. Now that you know you're going to go away and you need a balance of that, understanding tracking food is really important. So grabbing an app like MyFitnessPal or my app, which has a tracker in there, Fit by the Figure, you can then track to make sure you are getting enough of these things. Or if you grab one of my meal plans, they're all macro balanced for you anyway, so you know exactly what that looks like. The thing is about food is that ultra-processed food versus whole foods, and why it's important to focus on whole foods rather than ultra-processed foods, because calorie per calorie isn't calorie per calorie. I mean, it is, but not all calories are created equal. Let's put it that way. If you're having 100 calories of ultra-processed food versus 100 calories of whole foods, the whole foods are going to fill you up for longer and keep you fuller for longer. Why? Because they're more nutrient dense, because you've either got fiber added to them. Ultra-processed foods are going to make you hungrier quicker. So calorie for calories is when people go, oh, I need to have a low-calorie snack. I'm going to reach for a cracker or a few crackers at 100 calories, whereas you could have a banana for 100 calories. The chance of you going back and having 5 more crackers after the 5 crackers you had for 100 calories is high. It's not going to fill you up. It's not going to make you feel satiated. There's no fiber involved. It's just going to crumble in your belly, and that's it. Whereas if you have a 100-calorie banana, the likelihood of you going back and having another banana, my Instagram has just paused due to poor connection. There you go. The chances of you going back and having another banana are very slim, because the fiber and the extra micronutrients, yes, I will save it, are going to fill you up for longer, okay? So we know that ultra-processed food is actually not helping anyone in their fat loss goal. It's actually aiding people in putting on weight, because people are more likely to snack. So same with kids. If you guys have kids, giving them those ultra-processed foods, it's not about having fun or being convenient. It's about understanding what it's doing for your body. So giving your kids, those little crackers out of a packet. Sorry, I don't give my kids those, but those crackers out of a packet or whatever, those, I don't know what they're called. Cracks out of the packet. There's so many different ones you can get. It's not going to fill them up. If anything, they're going to be hungry, and you're going to wonder why they're hungry after. Oh, I give my kids snacks all day, but then they're still hungry. Are you giving them nutrient-dense, whole food snacks that's going to keep them full for longer? And understanding that they could have a whole bowl of blueberries and raspberries and strawberries. Like, I'm talking a massive bowl for the same amount of calories as a tiny little packet of these cracker things. This is going to fill them up for longer. It's got the fiber attached. It's got all those antioxidants, which is beautiful for their organs and all their vital organs and their brain function. Whereas these crackers are going to do sweet F all, right? All they're going to do is say they're hungry later. So this is why it's important that calories matter, and calories matter from where they come from. We also want to make sure that our kids are getting all their nutrients, because we don't want to have to be putting them in things like supplements, and the same goes for adults. We shouldn't need a supplement if we're having a balanced diet of whole foods. Now, we talk about 80-20 rule, guys. That's 80% whole foods, 20% occasional foods, and you've really got to understand that those occasional foods make way more than most people's diets than they think. If you are having any sort of cereals, muesli bar, that is going in your 20%. If you're having any soft drink, anything like that, that's going in your 20%. Chocolate, wine, that's all going in your 20%. Anything that's been processed, dare I say it, up and go. Joking. Well, not joking, but up and go. All your cereals, those prepackaged muesli bars, protein bars, anything that's in a packet really that's been processed, ultra processed, is part of the 20%. And most people don't realize that over the course of the day. Once you understand where your food is coming from and you understand how to make up some foods, it's really, which is why I share so many of my recipes, right? Like, I served 5 breakfasts the other day. You can get my free brekkie ebook. You just have to reply to brekkie at the Instagram, and you'll get my free brekkie ebook. 5 whole foods breakfasts. I will share my free lunch ebook as well with some lunch ideas, really quick ones to understand. You've got your protein, your carbs, and your fats. This is how much we've got, and this is how many calories are in. Now, one thing that people don't understand when it comes to calorie makeup is where your calories are coming from and how many calories you need. Everyone just thinks less calories, I'm going to lose weight, right? But do you know how many calories you're having? Do you know where they're coming from? And do you understand how many mistakes you're making when it comes to understanding calories? The little things you're picking on the side, like, oh, it's just a crust, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, it's just a splash of olive oil, it doesn't mean anything. Oh, it's just a couple of sweets, it's just one little chocolate. All that can add up over the course of the day. But the other thing is people then try and train fat loss, right? I hear it all the time. I go to the gym 5 days a week and I can't lose weight. Well, that's because your exercise, your intentional exercise, only makes a very small portion of your daily energy expenditure. And I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you. So, can you see this? This is your TDE. This is your total daily energy expenditure. So 100% represents your maintenance calories. This is how many calories you burn in a day, right? And I'm going to show you where they come from. Your total daily energy expenditure, or how many calories you burn in a day, is made up in 2 sections. Your REE, your resting energy expenditure, and if you have an Apple Watch or a Garmin, Apple phone, you can find some of the information in the health app. Energy or resting energy on the Garmin. I think it's also called resting energy. And then you've got your non-resting energy expenditure. So your resting energy expenditure and your non-resting energy expenditure. Your non-resting energy expenditure might also be called your active energy. Okay, your active energy in the app. Active energy. Okay, so it's made up of 2 areas. Now, your resting energy expenditure, how many calories you burn at rest, is made up of your BMR, your basal metabolic rate. And this is determined by your age, your height, your weight, and your current activity level. That's what makes up this 70% of your daily calorie expenditure, your BMR. So your age, your height, your weight, and your current activity level. Now, we can't influence or control our age. Damn it. We can't influence or control our height, or some people do. We can influence our weight, and we can influence. Oh, it's backwards, is it? How do I flip it? How do I flip it? BMR. I don't know how to flip it. I don't know how to flip it on here. Can I do that? Because on YouTube, it's the other way. Here we go. Flip. Wait. Crop, flip. Oh, is that better? There you go. I know people on YouTube are going to be like, it's backwards now, but that's okay. Age, your height, your weight, and your current activity level. So we can't influence our age. We can't influence our height. Where was I up to? We can influence our weight, and we can influence our activity level. So for most people, this is perfect. It makes up 70% of our daily calories, right? So for me, for example, my resting energy sits around at the moment. So I'm breastfeeding, training for a marathon. So I'm very highly active at the moment. Just for reference, I'm 39. I'm 165 centimeters tall. I try and get to 166. And I'm about 57 kilograms, okay? And I'm working out every single day, and I'm running about so much, and I'm breastfeeding. So my resting energy is around 1,550 a day. 1,550 calories a day is what my body needs to sustain sedentary life. Okay, and you guys can find your resting energy in your apps, okay, to see what it is. It's not going to be 100% accurate. Nothing is 100% accurate. It's taking it off data, but it will give you a ballpark as to what your resting energy is. So we don't really want to can't influence it much, right? What we want to focus on is up here. This is going to make up the majority of where we burn our calories. So let's start at the top. So this little tiny section up here that's going to make up about 5% of the daily calories you burn each day is your intentional exercise. This is your EAT, your EAT, your exercise thermogenesis. How many calories we burn whilst exercise. Now, it's so small. It's 5%. Right? And so many people go, I work out 5 days a week and I can't lose weight. Why? Because look how many calories you're burning in that workout. Now, the only way to increase the calories you burn in a specific workout is to work out more. Now, granted, I'm training for a marathon. On my 30-kilometer run the other day, I burnt something like 2,100 calories. Great for me, and then I can eat more. However, that is not normal behavior. Let's go with the average person working out 20 to 30 minutes, right? A couple of times a week. They're only going to burn between 150 and say 400 calories in that time. Very small compared to the whole day. And that's just if you do a workout on that day. What if you don't do a workout on that day? They get swiped, okay? So such a small portion, which is why I say you should work out for your mental health, for your strength, for your mindset, for your body's functions, for your physicality, for your cardiovascular strength. Work out for all these other reasons. Don't work out for fat loss. You're going to be disappointed unless you're training for marathons year round, okay? So that's our EAT, our exercise activity thermogenesis. Then the next area that burns calories throughout the course of the day is our TEF, our thermic effect of food. And this is how many calories we burn in the digestive process of eating. Now, remember I said before that protein has a high thermic effect, which means it burns more calories than fat, right? So having a diet high in protein means you're going to get a nice thermic effect, burning more calories in the digestive process than fats. So a nice high diet high in protein is really important, which is why we focus on it so much in when I do my coaching. I don't care really if your fats and carbs are like this, they can go up and down as long as your protein levels are hit. So that's going to make up anywhere from 5 to 10% of the daily calories you burn each day, depending on the type of diet you have. That's a big jump, 5 to 10% of the daily calories you burn each day. Now, the area that we have most influence over in our day to burn calories is our NEAT, our non-exercise thermogenesis. And these are all the calories that you burn doing everything else you do. Doing your steps, getting to your 10,000 steps, taking the stairs, not the elevator. Stop taking the freaking elevator at daycare. I see moms do it all the time. I'm like, take the stairs. Teach your kids to take the stairs. Play with your kids on the playground equipment. Park further away from school drop-off. Park further away from the supermarket entrance. First mentality is like, let's get a Rockstar car park close to the entrance of the supermarket. Do the opposite. Let's take the path of most resistance so that we can give ourselves the opportunity to not just burn as many calories as possible, because guys, if you burn more calories, you get to eat more calories. And I love eating. So if you're like me, let's try and burn as many calories as possible. But also for your intent, like it's the best thing you can do for your mindset and your mental health as well, is move your body as much as possible. Incidentally, you are going to burn more calories in a day by focusing on this than your intentional exercise, right? Look how small, 5%. This could make up to 15% of the daily calories you burn by doing everything else, going for that walk, lying on the floor and doing some stretches while you're watching the movie rather than just sitting there for the whole 3 episodes, right? Sit there for 1 episode, have a cup of tea and a row of chocolate, then jump on the floor and do some stretching. Take the stairs, play with your kids in the supermarket car park. I always say to my clients, get creative with your NEAT. What else can you do? Someone said once they were doing bum lifts in their car on the highway. Calf raises whilst you're making dinner, hang out the washing, do some squats. I squat when I brush my teeth sometimes. That's 3 minutes wasted. May as well squat, right? So this is where we're going to burn most of our calories. This is our active energy. So that's going to make up most. Now, if you eat 100% of the daily calories you burn each day, this is your maintenance, right? You're going to maintain your weight. If you eat less than the daily calories you burn each day, that's what we call a calorie deficit. If you eat more than the daily calories you burn each day, this is called a calorie surplus. So once you know what your total daily energy expenditure is. And as I said, you can get this from a couple of ways. You can go into my website and use my macro calculator. If you actually send me a message with macro, you'll get the free macro calculator, and you can find it out. Or if you do have a Garmin or an Apple Watch, you can jump on the Health app or the Garmin app and find your resting energy and your active energy. Add the two together. So add your resting energy, add your active energy, and that's your maintenance. And then we want to go into a deficit if we want to lose weight. Now, you can go from anywhere from a 15 to 30% deficit, depending on how much weight you want to lose and how quickly. If you are shorter, don't forget, remember, this is based on your height, your age, your weight, and your current activity level. If you are taller, you get more energy to spend, so you get more calories in your day. If you are shorter, you're going to get less calories, okay? That's just the way it is. It takes less energy. It's the one bad luck thing that you're born with, that you're either short or tall. If you're tall, you're very lucky. But remember, if you are wanting to go to a bigger deficit and you're short, it's going to be a bit harder for you to lose weight because you're not going to have as many calories to work with. We don't want to be dropping our calories really below our BMR. Okay, I would never eat less than 1,550 calories in a day, apart from the fact I'd be fucking hungry as fuck. We want those calories to stay in our normal bodily functions, brain function, all those sorts of things. Okay. So this is our total daily energy expenditure. And now that you understand that, you can then go, okay, well, if my maintenance, so for example, let's take an average day for me, my maintenance calories at the moment from memory, from looking at my watch for the last week, is 2,200. Okay, so if I eat 2,200 calories every single day, it doesn't matter if one day I'm burning 2,000 calories and one day I'm burning 100. We want to look at this over the course of the week. So don't just go and do your massive workout and then think you can go and have the apple muffin from the bakery that particular day because you burn it that day, if the next day you're doing nothing. Right? For example, my total daily energy expenditure or my maintenance calories for the last week have been 3,800 on Saturday, 1,900 on Sunday, 2, I think yesterday, and it'll probably be about 2,000 today as well because I've been for a run, right? So it's going to be like this. Okay, it's going to be like this. So you go and take add your active and your resting energy together. So look at it over the course of, say, a month. And then you're going to minus either 13 or 10, 13 or 30, up to 30%, depending how much weight you have to lose to put you in a deficit. And then you're going to follow that. So they say, let's go, what did I say mine was? 2,2. Let's look at the calculator. Oh, it's loading. 2,2 minus 15%. Can anyone do that in their head? Any good maths people here? Let's go 2,000. Let's go 2,000 and let's go a 20% deficit because that's what? 400 calories. So 1,600 calories would be my deficit. Now remember, if you remember I said before, there are 7,700 calories in 1 kilogram of body fat, which means you have to be in a 7,700 calorie deficit to lose a kilo. So if you're going to put your goal as losing a kilo a week, you have to be in a 7,700 calorie deficit. Depending how much weight you have to lose, that might actually be impossible, right? Without starving yourself, right? Or eating like 700 calories, which is not sustainable, not recommended, not because it's low calories only, but because, well, you're not going to have any energy. You're going to be tired. You might pass out, but you're also not going to be able to get as much nutrients as you need in your body to thrive. Because remember, guys, the reason we eat isn't to lose fat or stay skinny. The reason we eat is to thrive long-term, short-term and long-term. So our brains can thrive, our hearts, our organs, right? So that we can actually function properly. Whenever people think about doing coaching or doing a meal plan or looking at their nutrition, it always comes from a place of fat loss, right? We eat to thrive and survive. We do not eat to lose weight, right? So say so let's use 2,000 calories. Say my maintenance is 2,000 calories and I did a 20% deficit. I would then need to eat 1,600 calories to lose fat consistently. And with that deficit, I'd probably lose just over 500 grams a week. Okay, 500 grams a week. Now, after 500 grams a week, there might be a week where I have a hen's party on. Actually, who in my life is getting married at this age? I might have a party on. I might have a dinner date with Chris. And one particular day, I don't eat 1,600 calories. I eat 2,000 calories. And most people go, I fucked it. I went over my calories. I fucked my diet. Guys, one hot day doesn't make a summer. Remember I said there's 7,700 calories in a kilogram of fat. If you've put yourself in a 20% deficit, so that's 400 calories a day, the extra 400 calories you ate, you probably didn't even gain 100 grams. Right? So there's no point throwing in the towel because you had one day where you overate. Who cares? You just go back onto your tracking and go back into your normal life the next day and you enjoy it. This is why I talk about flexible dieting and flexible eating and anti-diet, because you can still go and have your burger on the weekends because we make sure that that's all in there. So for example, say, okay, Danny, maintenance is 2,000. I'm going to do 1,600. Okay, one day I have 1,800. Okay, that's fine. One day I have 2,000. I'm still in a deficit. Am I going to lose the 500 grams a week? Maybe I lose 400. But guess what? I lived at the same time. I had a date with my husband. I had a burger with a friend, right? You lived at the same time. If you want to make sure you do lose that weight, if you're like, no, I really want to lose that weight, what I suggest is working out what day of the week you like to eat more food. So for example, for me, I have a croissant and a hot chocolate with my twins on a Friday morning. It's really important to me. I love it. There's zero guilt there. But that day is a higher calorie day because I also don't mind a little glass of wine on a Friday night. So what I would do if I was in a deficit, I would potentially on that 1,600 calories, I might eat 1,550 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1550 on Sunday, and then it gives me a little extra calories to work with on that Friday and Saturday. So still being in my deficit, still enjoying everything, but just allowing myself to go over without sticking to my calorie deficit throughout the week over the course of 7 days. If again, I go over a couple of hundred calories, it doesn't matter, right? You just keep getting back on, which is why understanding where your calories are coming from, what calories look like is so important, because so many people throw in the towel when they have one inverted commas bad day. Guys, you've got to live at the same time. But when you understand that you can do this, but it's just going to take a little bit longer, then that's the key. Now, remember, as I said, 7,700 calories in a kilogram of body fat. When you know that number, you then understand it is impossible to gain 1, 2, 3 kilos in 1 to 2 days. Even over the course of a week holiday in Bali, if you were just to go nuts, increasing your calories by 7,700 over the course of that week is pretty fucking hard. And if you can do it, that's very, very well done to you, because it is hard, right? So please be aware, just because you've maybe put a little bit of weight on holiday, again, you lived, you had a good time, but potentially it was just, remember our carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbohydrates binds 3 grams of water. It might just be some water retention from the extra alcohol you drank, from the extra carbs you had on holiday because you enjoyed your holiday, okay? All right. So that's our total daily energy expenditure. I hope that all made sense. And then I suppose we do go into, which I've already gone to a little bit, it's that mindset part, right? And understanding, when you understand food and you understand where your calories are coming from, you have that sense of freedom, because you know that you can go and eat X, Y, Z and you're still going to be fueled and you're still going to be on track to your goals. But guys, what's more important, like I said at the start, it's getting dark in here, turn the light on. What's more important than how much fat you lost is how you're feeling. And as I said, so many of my clients come to me and go, oh my God, Danny, I came to you for fat loss, but I'm sleeping better and I've got less brain fog and I've got more energy and my skin is better and I'm more patient with my kids and I actually want to do things. And some people go, Danny, for the first time I actually took the stairs, I didn't puff out at the top of the stairs. Oh, and I lost some fat. And it's like, of course, because fat loss is the product of doing all these things consistently, right? And as I said, like I tell Harper at tennis and her tennis coach tells her, you just got to do the same thing over and over and over and over again. And yes, it might get a little boring, but you know what? Boring, eating a variety of foods. And if you were to work with me, or once you understand foods, you realize, oh my God, I actually can eat all the things I love, but what else happens? And it's happening to me more and more the more my journey goes on, is the things that used to bring you a bit of joy or used to really love, you start not loving so much. Because once you start to feel better and you start to function up here, you go, actually, here, right? You're functioning here because you're having too much ultra-processed food. Water, guys, water is so important. Not enough water. And you're functioning here. And when you start to eat better and move more, and eat whole foods and eat more whole foods and less ultra-processed food, less alcohol, and you start functioning up here, you go for a little binge on alcohol, like you go for a night out with the girls and you feel like shit, because the gap between here and here now is massive, whereas you were functioning here before, so that gap's not that bad. But now you've gone from here to here, or you go and have the pizza that you used to love and you now feel so shit. You're like, oh, actually didn't actually enjoy that much. It happened to me the other week. Chris and I got burgers and I ate half the burger and half the chips. Now he was like, what was wrong with you? And I'm like, I actually don't know. I just feel bleh. It's making me feel gross. I'd rather make a homemade burger. I enjoy it more. And then you start enjoying foods, because some people come to me going, oh, I can't imagine my life without, I don't know, my fried this or my fried that or my alcohol, because it's so much part of your life, because you've created a habit where that's what you eat and that's your lifestyle, right? You just need to move from this hamster wheel of lifestyle, jump over here and join this one and this one. And once you start feeling better, it's like a good hamster wheel, right? You do better, so you want to be better, so you feel better, so you want to do better, so you feel better, so you want to do better. And you can't imagine going backwards, because once you realize how you felt before, you're like, no, I don't want to feel like that anymore. And the power of food, right? Food can either be the best form of medicine or the strongest form of poison, but you get to choose that. And you get to choose what goes in your body and how that makes you feel. So do it for now. Do it for tomorrow. Do it for your kids, but do it for your future as well, because I can tell you right now, the last man standing Is it going to be the person that said, oh, this doesn't matter? It's going to be the person that put in the work now, right? It's not going to be the person that, decided to do the quick fix in December 2023. Do you remember in December 2023 when I did that challenge and I had to cut out carbohydrates and I wasn't allowed to eat pizza or anything I liked or have anything ever again? Yeah, you lost weight in 8 weeks. What if you could lose the fat and feel good long term? And you had to imagine that. So guys, do it for now. Do it for your long terms. Do it for your kids to show your kids what it's like, so they have good relationships with food as well. We don't talk about good and bad foods, right? We talk about thriving foods and occasional foods. There are foods that have a high nutrient value, and there's foods that aren't as nutrient dense for us. And we want the foods that are nutrient dense for us, not the foods that, aren't. We want bodies to thrive. We want our gut microbiome to have lots of yummy food. Our gut microbiome loves grains and vegetables and fruits. And just remember, guys, your guts and your brain, should turn the light on. Oh, there we go. Hi. Your guts and your brains. Your guts and your brains are directly linked via the vagus nerve, right? So whatever you feed your gut, your brain is going to feel as well. And so if you're starting to feel brain foggy and depressed and sad and moody and grumpy, it might just be taking a look at what you're putting in your body. What are you putting in your gut? Are you eating too much ultra-processed food? Are you eating too much sugar? Are you drinking too much alcohol? Are you not drinking enough water? Guys, 2 to 3 liters of water minimum, right? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you practicing positive mindset? But focus on what's going in here because it's going to directly affect here, okay? And once you understand food and you can go, all right, I'm having my protein, I'm having my carbs, I'm having my good fats. And as you can see from my Instagram, I've just made my caramel slice. It's got dates, it's got nut butters, it's got some protein in it, it's got rolled oats in it. It tastes fucking delicious. You don't need a normal caramel slice when you've got that. When you know how to still enjoy food, I can still enjoy that. It's freedom. The world is your oyster and you will hit your goals and feel good long-term forever. Anyway, I think Instagram is about to cut me off. So if you guys want to work with me, I do have the Vitality Project, which is my online group coaching. It's initially a 12-week program, but if you do want to stick around, you can stay in the hub and the Vitality Project for as long as you want. The price does drop after 12 weeks. If you are keen to join the Vitality Project because you came on here and stayed till the end, if you want to come on, DM me and I will give you a little discount code to join the Vitality Project. In the Vitality Project, you get 12 modules. Small little ones, because I know so many people, especially mums, find it so hard to commit to watching 10 to 15-minute videos you watch, educating you. I've got 4 guest speakers. It's amazing. You get access to my hat for the whole 12 weeks of the Vitality Project. You get all my masterclasses, all my meal plans. You get a trap function, you get community, and we do 2 coaching calls a week. So you get coaching calls like this twice a week with me and some of our guest speakers along the way to hold you accountable, to help you out, to answer your questions so you can vent, so you can cry, so you can just talk to me just like this, but on Zoom, so you guys can talk back. So DM me if you want to join the Vitality Project. If you want a fucking extra handhold, if you're like, Danny, I just need you in there, I need you in my corner, I need you like with the pom-poms being my cheerleader. I do private coaching as well. So you can DM me about private coaching and hold your hand and I can be your best friend for 12 weeks. Otherwise, I do have my app Fit by the Figure. There's a 7-day free trial. You've got my macro calculator on there so you can work out your macros. There's a tracker on there with all my recipes. There's over 125 recipes in there now. We're adding some more this week. You can add them all to your tracker so you can track your food, so you can make sure you're getting enough protein, carbs, and fats in there. You've got your running plans in there. You've got all the workouts, gym workouts, home workouts, express workouts, pregnancy workouts, beginner workouts, advanced workouts, Pilates, yoga, Tabata, everything in there as well. So that's Fit by the Figure. I hope you've enjoyed this masterclass. I hope you learned a thing or two. My inbox is always open. I do try and get back to everyone. If I don't get back to you and you trigger one of my automations, please just send me another message so I can see it. But I hope you enjoyed this masterclass, and yeah, hope to see you on the Vitality Project, the app, or just in my DMs telling me how much you've changed your life from the information that I've shared with you today. So thanks. I'll see you later.